What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another FPL video on Fantasy Football Scout. Amid all the wildcard drama that's going on, we're back talking about team selection. There's no wildcards going on in this video. We're going to be looking at planning ahead, transfers and captaincy for Game Week 31. Obviously, how Gianni did in Game Week 30, as always. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Same every week, isn't it? It's a bit. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Nothing to be annoyed about, right? There's more to life than FPL. When you have a bad week, that's kind of the approach I'm taking at the moment.
Yeah, well, we'll have a look at it in just a sec. Just a really quick reminder, right? And this is for me, because every time I do a video with someone else, I forget. You've got your free hit left?
Yeah, good shout.
And that's it. That's the only chip,
that.
right?
Only chip I've got left, which I'm very happy about, actually. I know a lot of managers have got a wild card, which is great, and I'm just as happy about that as I would be over a wild card as I am about the free hit. So yeah, I'm saving that.
And how are you, just before we come to the team for last week, how are you feeling like versus the wildcarders? Because obviously it's always a little bit of a boost, not necessarily as much as everyone always makes out, but there has to be some expected boost with it. So are you kind of worried? Is it affecting your thinking?
Do you know what? I think there'll be a big boost this week for wildcarders. I think moving forward, I don't think there'll be a huge difference. But I think this week there will be a big one. So everyone's identified the fixture turn that comes in 31. And with that, you've got the likes of Liverpool versus Villa. So I think there'll be loads of people wildcarding going Salah Jota, for example. I'm probably not going to have either of those guys. And knowing that loads will be captaining Salah, that's a little bit scary. But other than that, there might be a few. If I was on a wild card, Andy, I've not told my best mate Toby this, who's on a wild card, and I don't think he watches these, but I'd be going short-term punt on Man City attacker all day long. I'm seeing all the wildcard drafts. None of them have got Sterling or Jesus in. Just for 1 week, it means you've got to book in a transfer, but I'd be captaining Sterling this week all day long. But, I'm nowhere near that because I'm not on a wild card. But I think it's really fun to be on a wild card when you've got loads of Champions League and other fixtures around. We think Sterling will start this weekend, right? So
I like the way you didn't say no. We know because it's still just Pep Guardiola and Man City, isn't it? But I agree. Yeah. Funnily enough, I've done a video with Az on Wildcard this morning, so that will go out before this video does. So it'll already be live if anyone wants to go and watch that afterwards. And we were talking about punts. I think it's actually quite difficult because obviously Sterling's quite expensive. Like Az was saying, if it was Mahrez that had been benched, very easy. Then you swap him to Son. Yeah, but Sterling's 11 million.
It's Bruno, isn't it? You go without Bruno for a week against Spurs. I think it's really easy.
Yeah, you're much less boring than Az. Az was boring. His wildcard was basically template. I found it hard to rip into.
Of course it was.
All right, let's go on to your team, your super non-template team. So this is game week 30. So 56 points, you took a 4-point hit. So I was watching you on Twitter, I'm in an hour and over transfers, and I think that you talked yourself into Alonso so much that you had to make both transfers. Is that kind of what happened?
Correct, it is. And do you know what? I don't know if that 4-point hit happens without it. I was so nailed on a Chelsea defender for a fortnight. I was actually Rudiger, pretty strong Rudiger. And then I talked myself into Alonso with you last week. But I was pretty fixed on that. It was more the Son 4-point hit that I wasn't fixed on. And that was the one. Do I regret it? No, I don't think so, because I identified Son, and when it's not necessarily for 30, it's not for 31, it's for 32. I knew going into 32 I would want Son, and I knew for 33 I wouldn't be able to get 11 men out without a hit somewhere. So now I don't have to make a hit between now and 33 to get 11 men out, and I get Son for the double. So it kind of still made sense, even though Son got 1 point.
Yeah, a bit frustrating. I guess I had him as well. I get when he didn't start, it was like, well, I guess he has just come back from injury. But at the same time, I did think it was quite likely the way Mourinho was chatting about him. So I was a little bit frustrated myself. Elsewhere, it was mainly kind of the actually, funnily enough, we just said non-template. All the Fernandes, Rafinha, and Kane captain, which was really nice because although he was quite heavily owned, there was quite a few people that backed against him. So that was a big play. And Watkins came through with a goal. How are you feeling about Watkins in general?
Yeah, I mean, we could say he's been due a while, right? I was so excited about Grealish coming back that I was like, oh, maybe I will hold Watkins, because I was thinking about selling him soon. But with Grealish coming back soon, I'm happy holding him because there's not a huge amount of value strikers. Iheanacho is obviously the one people are looking at the moment. Bamford's not got great fixtures. Knowing I'm keeping Rafinha, I'd probably sooner sell Bamford than Watkins. But Watkins then has a dreadful run-in. But I think he's got West he's got a couple of tricky ones. I'm looking now, he's got Liverpool, City, but then he's got West Brom, Everton, United, Palace. So maybe for those he stays, and then for the end of the season run-in, Spurs, Chelsea, maybe he's gone by then. But no, I think I'm keeping him. He was unlucky not to get the penalty. Like I think that's often given. I think it was probably the right call that it wasn't a pen. But yeah, what do you reckon?
Yeah, so in real time, pen, right?
All day long,
straight away, I was like, that's a penalty. It's just one of those where, look, there's a big discussion to be had about penalties because he's going away from goal. There's no way he's going to score that. So whether they should get then an easy penalty is debatable. But in real time, yeah, I definitely thought he's taking him out. I feel like the replay, you had to watch it so many times from certain angles to make it look like it wasn't a penalty. It probably should have just been given. But you can see him slightly touch the ball. It's just, I don't know about that. I know what you mean, though. Like, on another day, that's given and not overturned.
Harry Kane gets 4 of them a season, Andy.
Harry Kane, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, in real time, like I was watching it. I was watching it in the kitchen for whatever reason, and I thought, right, that's definitely a penalty. But yeah, it didn't get given. But look, 7 points, probably not too bad the way the game kind of went for like 50-60. So nice to get a nice little return from cheaper forwards.
And I had Areola on the bench, and after Lloris had blanked, I was thinking, it was 0-0 at half time, wasn't it?
Penalty save.
I was Areola clean sheet or potentially the save. And do you know what? I wouldn't have been confident with Watkins taking it. When he went down and I thought pen straight away, I was praying someone else would take the pen because I was thinking, I'll take the 3 points for the assist. Thank you very much.
Was he holding the ball then? Because I didn't see that bit. Was he ready to take it?
No, we didn't see it.
Yeah, I reckon El Ghazi, was El Ghazi on the pitch? I can't even remember.
I think Al Ghazi started and it was first half, so presumably he was on the pitch.
Yeah, so he probably would have taken it. But then Watkins would have got the assist, so either way you're getting points. Yeah, it was a bit unlucky, but I still think 7 points is kind of nice. So I really want to get on to next week because there's a few players I want to question you over, interrogate you over.
Yeah.
There's some big ones this week, which especially for non-wildcarders, a lot of people are looking at, right, myself included. They revolve around probably Leeds because they got 3 difficult fixtures coming up. I think it's Man City, Man United, Spurs. I could be wrong. Yeah, it's Man City, Man United, Spurs.
Oh, Liverpool. Sorry, it's Liverpool.
Sorry, Liverpool.
It's Man City, Liverpool.
Spurs is at the end of the next 5 games. Yeah, and then it's Brighton, then it's Spurs. Sorry. Yeah. So the next 3 to 5 games are fairly tricky, and obviously Man City. We're all sat here thinking there's going to be a lot of rotation. So Foden didn't play against Leicester. Then he played in the Champions League. Gundogan didn't play against Leicester, then he played in the Champions League. What do you think the chances are of either of them starting this week? And I know you're looking to keep them.
Do you know what? If that game finishes last night 1-1, sorry, not if you're probably watching this on Thursday. So if that game finishes on Tuesday night, the Dortmund City game, if that finishes 1-1, I'll be more confident about Gundogan and Foden starting. A little bit like Liverpool losing to Real Madrid. The attitude Klopp's going to take that Pep could have taken this weekend is I need a result in the week. I haven't got to worry about necessarily maintaining a lead. I want these guys to get back into the habit of scoring goals, get back into the habit of playing together, get back into the habit of winning a football match. So Liverpool, for example, I think they'll go in full strength at the weekend because they'll need to get back into the habit of winning and scoring goals. And Pep could have identified similar issues with City, although he's obviously got a much better squad. But look, I think Gundogan probably misses out completely, and I think there's a chance Foden plays, but Sterling plays too. But Mahrez could drop out. It could be a front 3 of Jesus, Foden, and Sterling. But then does Aguero or Torres get minutes? Probably. So can I bank on Gundogan or Foden at all? No. Is there a fear that they both get 10 minutes and 1 point? Yeah, which is why I can't consider these guys as captains. In a way, I'm hoping they either play or don't play at all. I don't want them to come off the bench. I'll be happy with 60 minutes from either. But no, I think I've probably got a chance of one of them getting 60 minutes, but I think one probably misses out completely and one gets 60, and I'm still not sure which one.
Well, I mean, sometimes I don't know whether subconsciously it's because I own a player, but I'd be more confident in Gundogan, I think, because I think there's a chance De Bruyne misses out, and I don't think he has played without both before, actually against Fulham, which wasn't that long ago. So it's not like he's afraid to do it. But against Leeds, I just don't know what to make of that game. It's going to be so fast paced.
Yeah.
Like De Bruyne, I was chatting to Az again. De Bruyne was brilliant in that the reverse Leeds game, like absolutely brilliant. And how that game ended 1-1, I don't know. So this is the conundrum, isn't it? Because we don't expect it to end 1-1 this time. So you want the goal scorer. So what are you thinking of doing with them? Are you keeping them playing? Are you going to transfer one out?
So I planned Jota to come in for one of them. My plan was I was always going to sell the one I didn't think would start, and I thought I would be able to work that out from the last 2 games. we're now at a place where I'm still 50-50 on Gundogan and Foden. Which one do I sell to bring Jota in? I'm actually thinking I keep them both and give them the Leeds game and then sell one of them perhaps ahead of Aston Villa or perhaps ahead of their blank in 33. So it's really frustrating. It just goes down to, do I really want Jota this week or not? And I'm torn. Is it Trent or is it Jota I bring in? I'm definitely bringing in a Liverpool player. I just don't know which one. Or do I take a 4-point hit and bring in both? I don't think I want to do that. So yeah, I think I'll probably end up starting both Foden and Gundogan and just knowing that the likes of Veltman or Bamford or whoever might come off my bench. If I buy Trent, I've got a slightly stronger squad. So there's a good chance Bamford and Veltman are subs 2 and 3 on my bench. And therefore it could be a Son or a Rafinha coming off my bench if the Man City lads don't play.
So who, if you bring in Trent this week, who would be going?
Target goes all day for me.
Okay.
I could sell Veltman, but for my squad moving forward, I want that really low price third sub option, and I'd rather have Veltman as my third sub than Target as my third sub because of value. So I can sell Target, I think, for 4.7. Their fixtures are rank really at the end of the season, and yes, they've got West Brom and Everton in 33, 34, but I'm okay about that. So I think it will be Target out for Trent.
Okay, and are you worried about having so much money in defence? Because at that point, you've got Alonso, Pereira. In fact, at that point, Alonso, forget about Veltman because he's going to be on your bench most weeks. Probably, apart from, I guess, Gameweek 33, where he plays Sheffield United, which is quite a nice fixture.
Yeah.
But then you're going to have 4 defenders, 5.7 million or above. Alonso will actually be your cheapest defender, interestingly. I think Luka Dean's more than that. So are you planning on playing 4 at the back quite a lot?
It'd be 4 back until probably 33, 34 onwards. And then for Chelsea's late run, Alonso gets downgraded and then I get some money back. But I'm okay with a back 4, knowing I've got a squad with Rafinha and Bamford who have got tricky fixtures. I'm happy benching one of those guys for the next 3. Again, Watkins has got some tricky runs. I'm happy benching him on occasion. So my back 4 doesn't mean that any of my big hitters are going to have to be benched. It just means it's fairly cheap midfielders or forwards that have got bad fixtures are benched, which I'm okay with.
Yeah, fair enough. And I think it's probably worth noting, which I think is going to get noted quite a lot on Twitter and stuff this week, is that Leeds did score 6 goals in the reverse fixtures for the next 3. They scored 1 against City, 2 against United, even though they lost 6-2. And they conceded 3 against Liverpool on the opening. They scored 3 on the opening day of the season against Liverpool. So we know that they are very likely to lose the next 3, but we also know exactly how they're going to play. So I think if I was on a wild card, Rafinha and Bamford probably wouldn't be in my squad. But as a non-wild card, I don't feel completely awful about having to keep them for that reason. Yeah. We just know they're going to attack, so it's probably not the end of the world at all to have to play 1 even against City, especially if City are going to rotate as well. I know their squad's great, but it's not the same as having their first 11 or whatever it might be. Let's talk about captaincy for a second. So you said just a minute ago you think a lot of people will go Salah, and I guess a few people will probably look to try and punt on Man City, whoever that might be. I've seen people with De Bruyne just say they're going to captain him and hope for the best. Are you worried about your choices this week? If you're not going to go Man City, then you've got Spurs versus United, and we know how United. I know the reverse fixture for this was really heavy, but there was reasons around that. Yeah. Since then, Man United kept it extremely tight to the point where there's been a lot of 0-0s. Are you worried about that at all?
Yeah, I'm not massively pro Kane this week, and I do think there's a chance I swap it out. If I do take the hit to bring Jota in for either Rafinha or my Man City midfielders, then there's a good chance I captain Jota. In fact, if Jota's in my team, I probably captain him, although I just need to weigh up, do I want Alonso captain? And a lot of that comes down to, does Alonso start tonight? So we're obviously recording this Wednesday afternoon. If Alonso misses out against Porto completely, Chilwell plays, and the next leg looks like it's going to be another tight affair where perhaps he doesn't rotate too much and plays Chilwell's second leg against Porto, I do think Alonso will be nailed for the Palace fixture. And therefore, I think Alonso, this could be the week to go a little bit differential for captaincy.
Just like last week.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't, yeah, right. And last week, by the way, hit the post twice. I know one of those he got an
I know.
assist from.
And by the way, also, if this was Werner from last year when he wasn't afraid to score goals, he would have got an assist too. Like you
don't know why he passed that.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. I don't really want to take too much away from him because you still scored, right? So he set up a goal and Mount did score. But any striker shoots every time in that position. I could when I saw because I didn't watch the match because I didn't own Alonso and I only had Rudiger and he was benched. But I watched the highlights and I just thought, how has he not taken that on? Just lack of confidence, I think. Although I guess a bit of confidence to do what he did. But yeah, Alonso could have had a haul, and no one was expecting West Brom to score 5. As good as they played, they scored from pretty much every shot, and obviously the 10 men didn't help. So you genuinely consider an Alonso captain?
Seriously, really, if I don't own Jota, I'm toss of a coin between Kane and Alonso. But bearing in mind, I will probably own Trent, right? So, but I don't fancy Trent for captaincy. I fancy Alonso. If I'm going for a defender, I'm going Alonso, and then it's do I go Kane? And again, United, have they got their Europa League tie this week, or is it next?
Yeah, I think it's this week. Yeah,
it's this week. So again, I'll be looking to see how tired United look. What the beauty of Kane at the moment is, when do we see Kane with a week's rest? That's nice. Well,
they're out now, aren't they? So he's gonna constantly have this. Yeah, I was just checking there. So. Yeah, it's tomorrow at 8 o'clock versus Granada. Then it's not till Sunday for and it's probably not going to rest too many players for that game either because the top 4's not wrapped up for United, but it's looking quite good. So it's not a bad shout. I think to be honest, if you're not going to go for Alonso, then I think Kane's probably the best, unless Pep gives us any kind of indication about who might start. But I don't think that's very likely. To be fair to him, even though he does it anyway, he's been quite open with the fact he's going to keep rotating. So with the free hit, you're not using it in 33, is that right?
No, and annoyingly, I kind of had to commit to that last week. I was either going, and again, part of the 4-point hit I took last week was all because I'm not free hitting in 33. So I'm very big on, you have to be flexible, but you've got to work it out. And I worked out a few weeks back, I was committing to a free hit later in the season, probably 35. And therefore your transfers all have to be aligned to what you're doing in 33 if you're not free hitting. So no, I've kind of written that off, Andy. And I don't know, they have to have some drastic news for that to happen. Also an injury crisis. But at the moment, I've got 3 free transfers to use. If Target comes out, if Lloris comes out, and if one of my Man City midfielders comes out, that's 3 transfers. That allows me an 11 in 33 with my bench of Kane, Son, and a Man City midfielder. I'm quite happy with that.
Okay. Yeah, and obviously a lot of people have to do that because they won't have the free hit, and City's fixtures before and after are pretty good. I've seen, we'll probably discuss next, probably after 32 into 33 about selling Son, because I've seen a lot of people thinking about doing that already. So they sell him in 33, so they've got another midfielder in there. But it is then Sheffield United and Leeds straight after. So I don't know how many people are thinking about reversing that. But
with the week's rest every time as well. That week's rest for Spurs is massive. Can't underestimate that.
Yeah, I think the thing with Son is he just hasn't been scoring recently at all. I own him as well, so it's like I'm not completely put off him, but he just seems to be creating more chances. I wonder if Bale's not going to be back in the team anytime soon. That he might just have to become more of that goal threat again, and maybe it changes things up. Because once Bale was in, it was kind of him and Kane in the box a lot. So yeah, I don't know about reversing it. Obviously, you're not thinking about it yet. You're just like me. You're just going to bench him.
When Bale came into that 11, Andy, we saw Son with chalk on his boots, didn't we? Always on the left. Before Bale was nailed, it was often a front 2, and we might start seeing that again, where he's a bit more central. But also, he is only, I say only, it's 9.4 is not a huge amount of money for someone as consistent as he has been. Like, you can't easily swap a Son to a Salah. There's a few million in difference there. He's a couple of million cheaper than the likes of Aubameyang. So
yeah, I think people
9.4 is good value.
Yeah, I agree. I still think he's a good option. I'm not really planning on selling him either. I think most people are looking at going down rather than up. So maybe to someone like Grealish or whoever, because I think Son has only scored 1 goal since game week 17, which was against Leeds actually. Funnily enough, we got 13 points. Is this Son? Yeah, Son. Yeah. So 1 goal against West Brom. He hasn't scored outside of that. I've owned him the whole way through. So yeah, it'd be interesting. Anyway, I'm thinking far ahead. So yeah, the current plan: bench Kane, Son, and one of the Man City mids. It'd be interesting next week to see which one, or in game week 33, you look to get rid of, because this time next week, we're going to have exactly the same conundrum. Well, this Man City player played in the Champions League. Now it's Aston Villa. Played against Leeds and then played against Champions League, and then it's Villa. We're going to have exactly the same conundrum next week about minutes and stuff. We're going to be trying to work it out again, right?
Yeah, we are. They've obviously got a couple of cup games coming up as well, like domestic cups. I'm just looking at their fixtures now to try and work out when the next Premier League game is.
Yeah, so it's Leeds. Go on. It's Leeds.
They got Chelsea, and then after the Champions League, they got the FA Cup against Chelsea, and then it's Villa.
Yeah.
So we might get something from that FA Cup lineup and go, oh, okay, Gundogan's been rested or Foden missed out. Therefore, if Foden misses out against Chelsea, he starts against Villa, and then I sell the Gundo. I think it just gives me one extra week worth of data, which is 2-3 more games to know which one of these guys I want to sell.
And again, talking about reverse fixtures, the game against Villa, like they attacked that right, like City's left, Aston Villa's right, so down Matt Cash's side. They attacked that so much with Cancelo. It was so good. And I don't know how they didn't score more goals than that one. So, yeah, I'm the same as you. I kind of want to keep them because even if this week's tough to work out, the one against Villa might be a little bit easier. But we'll see. So transfer potentially one of the City boys to Jota or Trent in for Target, right?
Yeah, it's likely. It's pretty nailed that I'm going Target out for Trent, and then it's just, do I take a 4-point hit to bring Jota in? And if I do, does Rafinha make way? I don't think I'm going to be feeling that. Or does one of my Man City players make way? Likely, it will be one of those guys. But I don't think I'm going to take that hit. And maybe Jota comes in the week after or the week after that. I want Jota for 33. When I do sell my Man City midfielder, it will be for Jota. I just don't know when that comes.
Fair enough. We will see this time next week. If you have enjoyed that, please do give it a like and hit subscribe if you're new around here. Let us know what you think about Kane captain, because I've seen a few people considering it due to that week's rest and obviously the reverse fixture that went completely wrong for Man United, like massively. So we'll see if there can be a repeat of that. Gianni, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, mate. I'm hoping that Alonso is rested tonight, and then I can get really excited and hyped to maybe talk myself into an Alonso captaincy for the weekend. But yeah, all on the Chelsea game. As always with these team videos, you know, when you've got Champions League coming up, so much. I appreciate I've been quite flaky in the last 20-25 minutes, but so much of it is dependent on what happens in Europe, both for those in the Europa and those in the Champs.
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes sense. These are all things we have to consider. So it's good to go through thoughts about what may or may happen in the Champions League and how that will affect your decision. So let us know below what you think of the transfers and stuff like that. We'll be back. I've kind of lost track about what videos are coming out because we've got so much stuff this week with wildcards and stuff. But we will be back tomorrow. So hit subscribe and that notification bell if you haven't already. Give it a like and we'll see you soon.